Okay, I guess we're live. Let me check. Um, when I go on YouTube, it says that please stand by, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it tells me that we are live.
Yeah, in here it says we're live, but on my YouTube channel it's not saying anything.
But anyway, Bellamy is not here.
Yeah, she's gonna like rejoin. We're live. Okay, I guess we're live.
Oh, we are now online.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, Bellamy's back, and we're still waiting for Nuazi. Hopefully she can come soon. Okay, so we're going to get started. Let me see how many do we have viewers. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so basically, hi YouTube, it's me, Tia, and this time I'm being joined by some of my amazing friends. Basically, what this video is a follow-up to my previous racism and hate video. A lot of people were saying that I didn't really give a full description of what happened because, first of all, I'm American, and also I'm a girl, and also they said I didn't live in Italy long enough to experience racism. And so what I wanted to do was get a bunch of my friends. I got my friends who are Italian, I got my friends who are men, I got my friends that are all natural, 100% black, and
Proudly Ugandan.
yes, to come and tell their stories. And so, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Andreas, let's start with you.
Yeah, my name is Andreas. I'm Colombian Canadian, and I go to Bocconi with Tia, studying the same thing. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, except you're in finance, I'm in economics. No, I'm in management.
Yeah, it's true actually.
Okay, and yes, you said you're Canadian. Now, how about you, Bellamy?
Hi, I'm Bellamy, and I was born and raised here in Italy, and I am originally from Uganda and South Sudan. I graduated here in Milan, and I studied politics, international relations, and right now I'm working in the communication slash marketing field.
Yes, yes. And Ian. Ian, Ian, are you still connected? Can you hear me? Okay, I don't think Ian can hear us right now. Imani, why don't you go ahead?
Oh, well, you were talking to me. Yeah?
Yeah, Ian, go ahead.
Yeah?
Can
Yeah,
you?
you were asking me to introduce myself, right?
Yes, just
Oh,
like.
well, sorry, I was just distracted. Well, sorry for this. My name is Ian. I was born and raised in Italy. I consider myself a proud Italian citizen and a proud Ugandan.
Oh,
And well, I study law, and yes, that's me.
Ian, somebody has chat in another window and they need to close it.
What,
Yeah,
sorry?
I can hear the echo or something like that.
I can't hear you.
There's an echo. There's an echo. Someone has an extra window open, and it's echoing throughout the whole thing for me.
I don't.
What's what's going wrong?
Somebody has a window open with the chat.
Oh, that's. I close everything.
Okay, I still. Mm, okay. I guess we move onward. Imani, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Really? Yeah. We're like coming back.
Is she talking to someone else?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
No, no, because it's not my phone. It's my friend's phone, and like he needs to go.
Okay.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, so really quickly, my name is Imani. I'm studying at Bocconi with Tia, and I'm exchanged. I did 2 semesters, and I've been in and out of Italy for like 2 years now. And yeah. Oh, now I'm working in marketing in Milan. So sales and marketing, all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right.
That's what I do.
All right. You have to go. Yes. Why don't you tell about your experience with racism in Italy first? Specifically, can you tell us if you had any different experiences because of your hair? Because you weren't wearing hair.
Have I? Oh, yes. So, afros in Italy. That is a very uh, interesting experience to have because, like, it's definitely an attention grabber. I mean, Italians aren't very used to seeing this, apparently. And so every time I go somewhere, like going out somewhere, even like going to the grocery store, someone is just coming up to me like with their hand already extended, trying to touch my hair. And at first it was, yeah, it's very strange. But at first it was okay, like wow, they really like the afro out here. And then after about 8 months, you just want to strangle every person that comes to you with the same excited face. I mean, I understand it's not so common, so I'm always responding and I'm like, yes, this is a real afro. Sometimes they ask me if it's a wig, which is kind of insulting also. And I just got used to it, but you'll definitely get a lot of stares, a lot of like touches if you go out to a club just without permission, just like. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience to have an afro in Italy.
Oh. Okay. So, do you think it's any different than when you wear afro back in the USA?
Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like the perfect way to avoid that because it's not as I don't know outlandish. Like people don't feel like they can just grab it from any direction.
Right.
So
It's
it's
more.
definitely easier. I started to wear it like this here actually.
But did people touch your hair in USA? Is what I'm asking. Like,
Oh no. Like, of course, people
they
still
would.
come up to you and they're like, "Yeah, Afro is cool," but like, I think there's more. Just in general, there's a lot more people wearing Afros because maybe there's more Black people, and so you don't have the same kind of reactions. I mean, if people do ask me, "Can I touch your hair?" But they ask. That's the difference. So it's nicer.
I see. And have you ever experienced like racism,
Have ever experienced racism?
negative racism, or positive?
Um, in Italy, like honestly, I don't feel so much racism like compared to the States, and that's just my opinion. Like I think in the States, it's definitely harder. Like I can't go to an interview with my hair in an afro. Like never. Like that was like the first thing my mom taught me when I went for my first job. Like no, you have to straighten your hair. Like you can't go there looking so wild. Like
You look presentable.
yeah, no, it's just wild. I'm just like you can't do it. So here, I mean, I don't feel like I have to like change who I am or like try to have a different type of appearance other than my own in order to get respect. So I think in general, like it's better for me. Like I think that Yeah, I would definitely move here. Like, I mean, obviously I've been here for so long now, but like, I'm not trying to go back to the States, so it's pretty good. Good life.
All right. What about you, Bellamy? What would you say your experience with racism in Spain?
Are you asking me?
No, I said that. Uh,
He?
I don't know why I'm working. Or Bellamy.
Oh, to me. Okay. Can you ask the question, please? Because I didn't hear you.
It asks, what is your experience with racism in Italy? Have you ever had any negative racism towards yourself?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm natural too. I have been natural for about 8 years, and I keep, I still get a lot of stares and crazy whispers and people, and especially get those kind of look, crazy look from both
Just a second.
sides.
Just a second. Imani, it's with the extra tab open with the echo.
Me?
Yes. No, Imani.
I'm mine.
What'd you say?
Take out your headphone.
Ah, okay. Good. Yeah, I took it out.
Um,
Can you hear me?
the echo is coming from, the sound is coming from your video.
Hmm.
Turn off your sound.
I have to turn on my phone.
No,
Okay.
Imani has to turn off her sound.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now it seems the echo is gone.
Yes.
Okay, Bellamy, you go ahead. Explain your.
Okay. Well, as I was saying, I'm natural too, and I have been natural for about 8 years. And all the things that Imani was telling before, I experienced all of them too, and I actually still get them. Also because I live in a very small town where there aren't really as many black people as maybe you can find in Milan or Rome or whatever. So I still get a lot of crazy looks, whispers, and people pointing at me and stuff like that. But I get them from both black and white people. Like sometimes I get worse stares from other Africans rather than white people because usually like especially my friends or people I know are fascinated by my hair. They want to touch it and they think it's amazing, whatever. But instead African look at me like, what are you doing? Why are you going out with your hair, with your afro? Don't you have money for a relaxer or something like that? Which is
Dang.
ridiculous. But anyways, going back to your question about racism, as I was said before, I was born and raised here. I have always lived in quite a small town, and personally, I have never experienced racism. I guess I've been quite lucky, um, because maybe because I've always been in places or in environments that were quite I don't know, maybe familiar towards foreigners, and also because my father he graduated here, he graduated here as a doctor, so I've always been around a certain type of elite, which is not ignorant. I've always been surrounded by people who are very smart, who have traveled a lot, and so they don't have that racism kind of mentality, I guess. So, and also I've always attended private school, Catholic schools, and those schools are usually quite small, and usually they are more controlled, I guess. So you don't really find bullyism or racism or stuff like that in private school, or at least that has been my experience. And so I guess I've been lucky because I've always been in places where they're just, if they were not racist people, they never really openly showed it to me.
I see.
So I'm pretty sure I've met racist people in my life, but they just never really had the courage to call me names or stuff like that because they've always been quite polite, kind of people. Um, of course, I know that there are racist people here. Obviously, I hear it, everywhere. I hear it in the street. I hear it. I watch it on TV. I hear it on the news, and I also know that from my friends' experiences. But personally, I've never been attacked. I've never been in racist situations. I may have heard people saying negative things or things that were intolerant or something like that. Maybe they were close to me and they were talking about foreigners or black people or Africans and stuff like that in a negative way. And maybe they didn't know that I was actually Italian, because the thing is that everywhere I go, people most of the time don't think that I'm Italian. They think that I am a tourist or that I'm foreigner or that I'm American, stuff like that. So, they feel free to speak Italian because they think that I don't understand them, or, they don't know that I can actually, understand what they're saying. So I know that, I mean, I've heard a lot of crazy stuff, but never really directed to me. So, yeah, I don't know. And what I can say though is that I believe that racism has definitely increased, because when I was younger, when I was a kid, there were not as many black people as now, or I should say foreigners in general. So maybe people were less accustomed to seeing foreigners.
You grew up in the 90s, like you're 20.
Yeah, 90s, 20s, yeah, 2000s, 90s, 2000s. And there were really, really a few black people in my area, but I felt that people were more welcoming back then rather than now. Maybe because they felt less threatened. I think that now the problem is that they feel more threatened, and the financial situation was much better back then compared to how it is now. So overall, I feel that the whole I don't know, tolerance towards immigrants was much more back then compared to now.
Lower tolerance?
They were more tolerant back then compared to now.
I see.
That is how I feel. Even though now we are more, so maybe they should be more accustomed to seeing us, or maybe they should know us better, because usually you're afraid of something that you don't know, or of someone that you do not know. Now they should be more used to seeing us. Maybe they should know more about our culture or whatever. But I guess they're threatened by the whole crazy situation that is going on currently, and also politicians that are just saying crazy stuff. They're using foreigners, to. Anyways, maybe we can talk about that later. But
all right. Just
a
like
bunch of
general overview.
Are
how about you? Wait. Okay. What about you, Ian? What's been your experience with racism? And you're in Rome, so
Yes.
it's a bit more south. What's your opinions? What's your experience? Very general, because then we're going to get into the specific question that I sent you guys to think about.
It's a very wide question, but I will answer with my direct experience. First of all, I never really experienced racism, also because, and I was born and raised in Italy. I've attended not like Bellamy. I've never went in private schools. I'm a commoner. I always attended state schools, public schools. So and for I think that I experienced things that in the end are very real. That can apply to any experience you can have when you live in Italy. Because of course, when you talk about racism, I think that you really have to put aside the American example. Because in Italy or around Europe, it is really, really, really different. For my view, I can say 2 episodes in my life that are quite kind of funny, because I still remember when my first day. I mean, in my primary school, when I was just 6 years or 6 year old. I mean, I was the only African Ugandan boy in that school. I mean, maybe there were just two Chinese, but that I was also an exception in that neighborhood. And I still remember because they were the school has set in place some multicultural activities, which was kind of funny because in the end we were very, very little. I mean, they were just
Trying really hard.
yeah, a few numbers. I mean, not even 10 people with foreign origins. But they set up these multicultural activities, and I remember clearly the teacher saying, well, we are all equal, and everyone was saying, well, we are all equal, and everyone was looking at me, and I was just like, well, it is much easier for you to say that. I mean, and well, now, and the other episode, well, to be honest, there are many that there are just some contradiction, but that I think it is really normal when you come from a different background, which is not necessarily means that is based on race, which in the end is even kind of natural as long as you don't see a difference in terms of capabilities.
Right.
But yes, I mean, I've met a lot of people that have been much more offended that have African origins, but even other origins. I mean, of course, we are going to talk about this deeply now through this conversation. But yeah, as for me,
Not really. You haven't really.
not significant episodes, or well, not that well, I mean, I've met people that say, well, but even abroad, but I've seen also other Africans or other black people saying, we've all come, well, since you are this and that, or white or black, well, I cannot date you. I mean, this is also happening the opposite, but yeah, I mean, but that's still, I mean, you can say preferences, or you can say, I mean, as long as they did not attack me. I mean, the attack, I mean, fierce attack, of course it happens. Of course it happens everywhere. Of course, Africans are targeted. And of course, black people are targeted. Of course, not just them are targeted. But yes, I mean, this is what I say on the matter right now. I mean,
All right. Great. Um, Andreas, now it's you.
Yeah, so
American Black man view.
my experience is mostly through Bocconi and like the other international students. And I find that in general, like I mean, I haven't really felt any racism on the part of Italians themselves, but in general, it's just like stupid or ignorant comments that people make constantly. Like as I've told you before, when I leave the gym and I'm wearing shorts and a sweater, people say, "Oh, you look so ghetto. Where are you going?" But I'm just, I dress the same way as the white guy that left the gym, but I'm black, so I look
Right.
ghetto.
But these are the international students from Bocconi.
Yeah,
These things
yeah,
too.
exactly.
No, it's funny that you say that because I remember one time when Imani knows this story because I was with her. Eastern European girl from Moldova decided to tell me that I looked like a monkey.
What? Oh my God.
I kid you not. We were all sitting on the bus. It was Imani's room. We were all sitting on the bus, and she straight up told me, you look like a little monkey.
Oh my God.
And if this was America,
Oh wow.
and this happened in America.
no, this happened in Italy.
Oh well.
In Milan?
Was I mad?
No, in Milan.
Yes, in Milan, like a couple months ago, she went to Bocconi. But I mean, at the same time, while inside, I was furious.
Oh my God, are you talking about a grown person? Like a grown person told you that, not a kid, like a grown person.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Not so. Even though my initial reaction, of course, I wanted to slap her. But then I said, you know what? She's from a country that I've never even heard of before. I didn't even know this country existed until a month ago. And so she probably has no experience with other people besides white people. And she doesn't know how to act. She doesn't know how to...
But Cuba,
Wait, can you hear me?
there is a huge stigma. There is a huge stigma also for
Wait, pause.
Can you hear me?
Imani.
You can hear me?
Yeah, but when people talk, it echoes.
Okay. I'm just gonna sign out.
Can you turn volume without
The volume where on the phone?
on the computer?
Okay, what about now?
Yes, now it's okay.
Oh,
Now I
can we
can-
respond?
But yeah, you remember that time on the bus when Anna said the monkey?
Well, to be honest, I mean, you also have to consider that there in Moldova, I mean, I'm not trying to justify this girl, but because we don't know her story, but I can tell you that there is a huge stigma on people from Eastern Europe. And in my opinion, they have been much more hated here than Africans or other ethnic.
We're gonna talk about that. Imani, you need to turn off your speaker.
What?
I was telling Imani she needs to turn off her speaker. Okay, it's okay now. But back to you, Andreas. I didn't mean to cut in and interrupt you, but I just had to say that.
No, well, yeah. What I was saying was that in general, I don't feel any hatred against me. Like no one is like against me for being black. It's more just like ignorant comments they make because I don't say it's exactly because they have no experience with black people. I'm sure most of them actually have quite a bit. But regardless, they make their ignorant little comments that like even there's been a few times where I've been in a suit when I go to.
Poor Andreas.
Calm down.
But no, we just got joined by my good friend Loretta Grace.
Hello.
Yes, Loretta, we were just in the middle of just talking about our individual experiences, and Andreas is going to finish telling his, and then we're going to move on to you because everybody else already talked about it.
Wow.
But the video is far from over. Go ahead, Andreas. You were wearing...
Yeah, what I was just saying was that like in general things just have to do with your appearance, like with my appearance. Like the days I wore a suit once for an event and I was walking around campus and someone was like, "Oh, for once you don't look like a ghetto rapper or something." And it's like, most days I dress.
No, but it just kills me that these are Bocconi students saying this. Like, these are supposed to be the best of the best. And it also kills me that it's not even the Italian students saying it.
You know what I like doing to them? I like asking them how many black friends they have.
And
They're
it's just...
like, "Oh yeah, I have like one from like here and like the other one from there." And then I've actually like asked a couple of my friends this a few times, and when I go like to visit them in whatever country they're from, like no black friends, like not a single black person in sight. Funny.
Well, I guess when you live in a country where there are no black people, you don't really get to practice that sensitivity. And I mean, it's okay to call people monkeys and say they look ghetto. Right now, there's also this huge trend at our school. Everybody's trying to like adapt this ghetto culture. I see people commenting on videos like "What up, doe? That booty doe? What's going on, doe?" Like, these are people from like Serbia, Croatia. I mean, I'm not targeting out any countries, but I just think it's so interesting to see how the international students at Bocconi act. It's...
Oh my God, I feel I
I don't know, man, but Loretta, go ahead. Tell us your general opinion on racism in Italy. Afterwards, we're going to answer the questions that I sent you guys, but just quick 1-minute overview, what you think.
What do you want me to say? Where do you want me to put the focus?
Oh my gosh.
Because I have a lot of things to say, like...
Presentati, Lori.
All right. I'm introducing myself. My name is Loretta Grace. I'm an artist. Actually, I'm an actress and singer, as well as beauty blogger. And I know it's hard to say, but it's hard to believe, maybe. But I think I'm one of the. I don't think I'm the only one beauty blogger here in Italy who is making makeup videos, but I don't know anyone doing it in Italian. And this is something very discouraging, because when I was younger, I wanted to put makeup. To know someone to give me advice and suggestions on how to put makeup on myself, since I'm a singer, since I'm an actress, and I work on stage, but nobody could help me. So I start this YouTube channel to inspire other girls. But now I'm seeing that someone here in Italy is doing it, and this is very, very nice. But we are very far from what I want to see here in Italy. It's something that could happen if we believe in it, and if we, you know what, black people sometimes, black girls, they don't have sisterhood. There isn't sisterhood between us.
Very true.
This is what I see here in Italy. I don't know, Tia, if it's like this in US, but here.
Definitely.
I mean, it's like they want you to see, they want you to shine, but they don't want you to do something better than them.
100.
So if we don't help each other, it's going to be more hard. I don't know. What do you think, Bellamy?
You know, I totally agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you already want to talk about this right now, but there will be. I mean, there's kind of a lot to say about that, because it's sad, but it's definitely true.
Like black on black racism, because racism is such a big monster. It's such a big issue. Like, it's not so black and white. Excuse my pun. It's not black against white, because there's a lot of racism in the black community as well. I don't know if you guys have it in Italy, but in America, we definitely have colorism, where there's team dark skin and team light skin, you know?
No, we don't have that kind of stuff.
We don't have this. We don't have
stuff in Italy.
And on top of that,
otherwise that would be bad. Like, seriously, do you see me?
That stuff is insane, seriously. I mean,
what?
we don't really have, but we must be honest. I mean, the population, I mean, the diaspora, I mean, it is not that big. And actually, the young people that basically were born in the past 20 years, I mean, they are the ones that you are seeing right now. But there is no, I mean, the immigrants that are coming.
That was the point of my last video, though. That was my point. Like, you guys don't have the same history as us. The reason that we have team dark skin and team light skin is because of slavery. It was something that started 200 years ago and is still here. And I feel like that framework isn't in Italy, and it makes things a lot easier for you guys. I mean, yes, there's racism.
Yeah.
No, hold on, let me finish. Yes, there's racism in Italy, but I just feel like it will be easier for you guys to move forward because you don't have a million other pieces of racism at work. It's
not as ingrained in this society as it is in North America.
Exactly, because literally, like I was saying, I can admit it. I think before I moved to Italy, I was kind of racist too. You know, everything in my mind was black and white. If somebody said, like, you know, oh, it's because she's white, or it's because she's black, it kind of like rolled off of my shoulder, and I thought that was like a natural thing to say, to think of things in black and white. And I didn't even notice that that was out of the normal. It's just the way we think.
But to be honest, that I think is the big mistake of what happened, I mean, in US, because you basically universalized your racial issues and making like the entire world is like that. To be honest, I actually very much, pretty much against, I mean, even the same definition of black, because to be honest, I know where I come from. I am Ugandan, and in Africa there isn't just black. There are a lot of ethnicities, a lot of people, and they don't have a voice. I mean, or at least it is not as known as some claims moved by Afro-Americans in their own country, which have its own particular problems. For this reason, sometimes I think this type of talks sometimes do not have the right understanding, because of course there are some situations in Italy that are not good for Africans, but even for other ethnic groups. I mean, I can tell you that Italians, for example, have made a lot of strikes against Romanians and against Albanians, a lot, I can assure you that. And if you just compare to how much they really go against the African, especially the illegal ones, I mean, I think that it is not even comparable. I mean, and that I think it is evident to everyone. Of course, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if it is evident to everyone, because people still comment on my videos saying, well, black immigrants are the only ones that get shit from Italians. Italians only look at black African immigrants badly. but I mean,
Yes, you know what?
Yeah, it's not
You know
true.
what, Tia? If you tell them that you're from America, they treat you differently. If you tell them that you come from Africa, they treat you like you're even if you know I was born in Italy. My mother is African. My father was American, and I used to hide the African part because here in Italy, when you say I'm African, they treat you differently. I don't know what it is, but it's something that I'm noticing since years. It's something strange. I don't know if you get me. I don't know if you have.
it's definitely there, and it's definitely prejudice, and it's definitely wrong. I just was saying in my video that I don't know if I would call it racism, because Italians treat Romanians and white Eastern Europeans just as bad, if not worse, as African immigrants.
but I
It's,
don't really
it's,
think that. Oh, sorry.
That, exactly.
Andreas
I
was
was
talking.
gonna say that it's like the illegal immigrants, it seems, because like you're talking about Romanians and you're talking about Africans, and like at least from my perspective, from what I've seen in Italy, the highest percentage of illegal immigrants come from those areas. So I think that's like the problem that they really have, because Italy's the country in Europe that receives the most illegal immigrants from across the Mediterranean, and they have the same problems with people from northern Africa, like Morocco or Egypt, or not so much Algeria maybe, but those regions as well. So I don't know if that is specifically a race thing or if it's more of a foreign policy immigration issue.
I
Well,
think
I have an answer for that. I mean, a personal one, because when you really, I mean, most illegal Africans coming into Italy, they don't stay here because otherwise the African population would be much higher. And this did not happen for years, and because they basically go outside. What really upset very much the Italians is that they feel the pressure. I mean, that is not to appear racist, and this is put in practice in this fashion. They basically know that they have to provide, and they are tired of that. I mean, but they know that if they cannot do that, they would be targeted as racist. I mean, that is the strange point. But if just they see how even South Africa or other African countries treat other Africans, which is far worse than what happens in Italy, in another European country, I mean, that would really change. I mean, actually, my question is that one. But to be honest, being African for me has never been sincerely such a big thing. I mean, they always asked, "Oh, but where precisely you come from? But where you really are?" And when I said Uganda, they were just like, "Rwanda? Ah, yeah, you have finished that." I was just like, "No, Uganda."
wait, I think I can mute Imani. I think I can mute your video so you can still be live and listen, but yeah, you can still hear us, Imani, right?
No, I think well, I can listen to her.
Hmm. All right, Imani, you're just going to stay on mute until somebody asks you a question, because that is annoying.
Oh, poor girl.
We're having such technical difficulties. But I just wanted to say in relation to that, Ian, it's very interesting what you say about other countries treating their immigrants terribly, treating their immigrants worse, because I see that when refugees come to Italy, they have kind of a safety net, and they have services. But let you be an illegal immigrant from South America coming to USA, you will get nothing.
Yes, exactly. I mean, for this, but there's sick and tired, and actually the most racist parties actually are saying things that are in place in Australia, in US, in UK, and in most European countries. I mean, that is the nonsense is that, but that is because Italians, I think, that too, I mean, somehow hypocritical because instead of doing things practical and just say call the things for what they are, because I mean it is bad when they confuse for example the legal immigrants. It doesn't matter where they come, because of course there are even some from Africans, but other parts from other countries, but they then forget the people that are actually living here. I mean, and then confusing and putting in the same. I mean, it is not. I mean, fair. But even when they put the same, their own citizens before. I mean, it is a system that really doesn't work, and everyone knows that. But if you take a firm stance, you are labeled as racist, and that is something that the Italians really don't like. Even if within Italian society there are a lot of even racism. I mean, there are people from the south. I mean, my dad, when he was studying in the northern part of Italy, in Pavia, I mean, he saw that board where it was, I mean, a notice where it was written something like, "We don't accept people from the south." I mean, it was a very bad term, which is terroni. And my father asked to this guy. I'm talking about events of the 80s. I mean, and this my father asked to this guy, "Well, can I enter?" "Oh yes, you can, but not the others." I mean, this is just to tell you.
That awkward
happened.
when the Napolitan is more black than the black guy.
Happened. So I mean, the racial issues. I mean, Italy. Sometimes I just laugh because really these people.
No, I have a question. I want to start the list of questions that I have for you guys. The first one I want to ask is, do you think that black Italians have less opportunity than white Italians? Less opportunity to go to school and be successful as white Italians?
Yes.
I don't know. It depends.
I say no. I say no.
I say yes. I say yes.
Both sides explain your opinions. First, Loretta.
I know a lot of people, black people, who went to, who are lawyers, who are doctors, and then do have not a job here in Italy. A lot of friends of mine had to move to London to get a chance to work, and this is sad. And you know what? When I went to Paris last year, I went there to film a video clip. And you know what I noticed? That there were a lot of people doing normal jobs, like taxi driver, like someone on the supermarket working there. Here in Italy, you don't see that. You don't see that. You only see people, I mean, I'm talking in general, but traveling all over Italy, this is what I noticed. For an example, today I was going out at the center of Milan, at Duomo, and dark people were outside the door doing the security. That's their job. Most of the people, most of the men, they do that, or they clean, or they don't do something else. I mean, there's nothing wrong doing that work, but I would love to see more black people working in a bank or working in a hospital, doing lawyer, teaching.
Ian is going to be a lawyer.
What?
Ian is going to be a lawyer.
Let's talk about when you degree. I want to know if you had the chance to work here in Italy, I'm really curious because a lot of people I know, they didn't let them work here in Italy. I don't know if it's the same for you, Bellamy. If you know someone that wanted to
Honestly,
have the chance to
people
work
that
here, but
honestly, most of the people that I know who moved, first of all, they moved years ago because of their parents, but most of the people that I know who have degrees, they moved by choice and not by force. They chose to move to work abroad because, I mean, realistically, there are more chances to get a job
yes,
outside of Italy. I mean, and it doesn't really depend on your ethnicity and stuff like that. I agree with you. I mean, if you go around, if you go to the bank, it's not common to see a black person, being a bank employee. It's not common to see a black person working as a police officer. It's not common to see a black doctor in Italy. It's not common to see, I don't know, a black engineer or whatever in Italy. That's true. But honestly, right now in 2015, I don't think that we have less chances to get to get higher, to get higher job opportunities
But
than white Italians. I don't think that
you
right
know what
now.
Whoopi
I have
told
a
me?
question for you guys that are like actually Italian. Do you think it's actually a question of it being not common or it not happening at all? Like, can you confidently say that there is one black police officer in Italy or that there is one black doctor in Italy? Because I
Yes,
mean, from my experience, I've never seen a black police officer. My Italian friends, like I've asked them more than once, and they laugh. Like they actually laugh at that question. So
No, well, but can I ask?
yes, there are. There are a few, but there are.
Sorry, I want to say something about it. I mean, first of all, I strongly disagree with this. I mean, I do believe that we have the same
That's what
possibility
I said, Ian. Excuse me.
because
I
we
said
have,
that.
I mean, we have, I mean, first of all, when you just say that you don't see these people in place, I mean, first of all, you just see the job market. I mean, the same Italians do not have jobs, so I don't think that. I don't
No,
really
It's
think
true. It's
people,
true.
they
that
have
is
Yes,
an
choice.
argument.
it's
I mean,
true.
I don't really think that is an argument. Then you also have to consider that there are corporations. I mean, still people. I mean, what they're trying to reform is that, I mean, you just have to talk to someone, not really your relative, but I mean, that is what is depressing right now, the opportunities for the same Italians. And then when you consider, I mean, I don't really think that being black is blocking you because I've seen actually in Rome, not black, but I've seen a Chinese working at Poste Italiane, which is one of the main companies
Chinese
delivering
because
parcels.
he's white.
I mean, no,
Chinese.
Not white.
no, come on, what is that? I mean, are you
Chinese
kidding
are
me?
not
I mean,
white.
no, well, to be honest, I
He
mean,
is lighter.
there is no law in Italy. Law, not law. There isn't even the pressure of hindering the job career of any black or African person. I mean, because I feel confident about that. I know that when I actually I think that when you are more exotic, you have even more chance to be seen because, I mean, and there are people
This
using
is
that.
true.
There are a lot of people using that, and to be honest, I mean, I don't want to defend uselessly, like, oh well, he was born here, so he was. But I think that this can happen in US. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for the American listen to us.
Can I
This
say
can,
that
this
when I
can
went?
happen
Can I
there, but this is not the case of Italy, which has even a fewer black or African population. Because when Italians are complaining about how many immigrants are here, they really haven't seen Brussels, Paris, London, which is even, I mean, there is a huge percentage. But here, really, I mean, there is, before meeting Bellamy, I didn't know any African person until I was 18 and
Oh
I
my
started
God, are you kidding me?
around. I'm not kidding. I'm not
I
kidding.
thought you were about to say Ugandan. You said African in general?
What?
I thought you were about to say Ugandan. You said African person. Like, seriously, man?
Yes, I'm not kidding. And before even joining an association that was lobbying for the change to change the citizenship law here in Italy, and I've seen a lot of people, but I can assure you that this country is everything but racist. Really, I don't believe. And
Can I just say something about the representation topic? To be honest, when I came to Italy, I was surprised at how many black people I saw. Because coming in, I didn't expect for
I
this.
don't have that.
Like,
I grew up here for, I mean, until I was 16. I didn't have, apart from my cousin, any African guy.
I don't know, but I mean, I think it's more
I'm
than
really
expected, but
kidding.
still, it's definitely less than the population as a whole. And I have to say that, at least in Milan, I have seen black people working in professional.
Everyone is concentrated in the northern part. Yeah, they're much more concentrated there. But when you
No,
move
but
to
I
the
don't think
south,
you heard me. I
sorry.
don't think you heard me. I said I have seen black people in professional positions in Milan. I've seen like black bus drivers. I've seen black people. I've seen a black person working at the post office too here.
Where?
I think it was the one in Puerto Romana. I can't remember, but
But
I thought
freedom, they can do whatever they
Let
want.
me
They
tell
have
you,
the
I
laws.
was born here, Tia. I was born here, and for my job, I traveled all over Italy. This is something really, is not, something that you see every day.
yes, but
Because
It's
Africans are not so much here in this country.
yes,
Let's
black
be
people
honest
make up
about that.
30% of the Italian population. We make up almost 30% of the U.S. population. And do you think we make up 30% of the government? Because we don't. Do you think we make up 30% of the people on TV? Because we don't. Until 5 years ago, you'd be surprised if you saw a black person in the lead of a movie where the rest of the cast wasn't black. There was no scandal. There was no suits. All these shows you see now showing us diverse America are new. Black people, the only place we are overrepresented in the US population is in jail. Black people, minorities in general, make up more than 50% of the incarcerated population in USA. So, I mean, when you say that you don't see black people here in high positions in proportion to the population, I can say the same thing in USA, except worse.
But the difference is that the African people and the people here, I mean, they're not that much. And the one that you are starting to see in this very moment are people like me, like Bellamy, that grew up in this country and are trying to, and are becoming visible because, of course, our parents, they had a different path, but not all of them fare badly, like everyone is saying. I mean, of course, they had the difficulties. Of course, they had the difficulties, but even other ethnic groups, they had the same. I mean, for me, I mean, this victim narrative, I mean, has must be corrected somehow.
I agree with you. In fact, as I said before, I don't think that we have less opportunities. Absolutely not. Right now, in 2015, it's not like that. And then, I mean, those who have left, they left by choice. They left because of the general financial crisis, general financial situation in Italy. Maybe because our parents have this idea that we must be successful outside, like in the UK or in the US. It's not because they don't think that we don't have opportunities as black people in Italy. It's not the
No,
case.
this is not what I meant when I say that, but I mean, we are into
I mean, that is the question that Tia asked.
2016, and I don't see what I want to see. People are leaving. Black people are leaving this place.
That's
Yes, but because of the financial crisis, not because of racism.
I think that in 20 years, Italy will look very different, whereas I don't know if I can say the same in USA. In 20 years, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a second civil war or something, because things are getting really crazy. I can't even.
Yeah, yes, I mean, the situation is really, it will be in 30 years, this country will be changing.
I think for the fact that black people haven't, I'm going to say always been in Italy, you guys are making some good strides. I mean, there's one or two black politicians in parliament. That's pretty good considering African Americans have been in America for 300 years and we're still asking for the same thing 300 years later.
I mean, but they can be voted. I mean, if I run for an office, I can be voted. I mean, there is nothing stopping me from having, and people would not judge me actually for.
Look at Tony Wabi, man. Look
Yes,
at Tony
they can say.
Wabi.
Well, sorry,
Look at Tony Wabi.
who is that?
Tony Iwabi.
The guy from the Northern League. Yeah, well, come on. I mean, no, well,
Wait, is that the black guy?
past generation. He belongs to the past generation. I mean, I do really think, and I'm very confident of that, that the young generation, I mean, people like us are going. They're the ones that will be responsible of a change. But I think that in Italy there is a breeding ground. Of course, I mean the economy and how Italy is structured. Because I mean, of course, you must be connected in this country. Of course, I mean there are some things that. I mean, it is, of course, UK, France, and all these countries are more dynamic than Italy. I mean, that is the reason why there is a financial crisis. I mean, we are not so distant from Greece. I mean, and we had basically the same problems. So, but I would not say that in this country. I mean, I realized many things. I do believe that Italy has some flaws, but I'm very confident on its capability to change because I mean it is. I've seen that with my own eyes. I mean, this country is very welcoming, and the only problem is the people running the country. But Italy is run by the common people, and I mean, the common sense of the Italian people, I mean, is something that I have still a huge confidence in.
All right.
What about Andres? I'm curious to know because is Andres Canadian?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, Canadian.
The things that Tia was saying about Black people representation in the government or, you know, in high, I don't know, important or high job levels, high levels in careers. Is that present in Canada as well, or is it much more? Is it much better?
A lot better than in Canada. I feel like, in terms of that aspect of the society, it's a lot more developed because it's a lot more diverse. Like, people come from everywhere and they do whatever they want. It's not so much like, I mean, in the U.S. you could see a difference between like you can clearly see that like the Senate will be, or Congress, for example, will be dominated by old, bald white guys, and there's not going to be a lot of Latino or Black or Indian or Chinese people in it. But then in Canada, you can't really say the same because it is a lot more diverse, and everyone considers everyone Canadian. You know, you're not going to hear a comment like, "Oh, go back to where you came from," or "Go back to Mexico," "Go back to Africa." You're not going to hear that because everyone considers everyone Canadian. So I don't think that's bad.
American slaves during slavery, well, not all.
To Canada,
yeah. They all went to Canada.
Yeah. Canada was never really big into slavery. I mean, it was always the safe haven for slaves. So the culture shows, I think.
It's a much better version, I think, of like USA. You guys have free healthcare, no guns, less racism. If it wasn't so cold there.
It's just as cold as Connecticut, though.
Exactly. That's why I had to leave, man. That's why I had to leave. I don't know. Can't really deal with the extreme weather. First it was too cold in Connecticut, and right now it's a little too hot in Milan, so...
Yeah, it's really dry.
No, but actually we ended up covering all of the questions that I sent you without me asking them. I don't know. Do you guys have any like last words to say? We're coming on an hour. It's been an hour. Wow. We've been talking for an hour. But do you guys have any last words to say? Anything you want the viewers
maybe the only one thing that I would like to say, because I mean, I am quite active on social media. I have a blog and stuff like that. And most of my followers are from the US or the UK or not from Italy. And everybody thinks that here we cannot even, I don't know, walk down the street, that we get offended and we receive racist insults and stuff like that. guys, seriously, it's not like
What happened?
She's like,
Something that
people being insult Balotelli at the stadium. It doesn't mean that we get the same treatment here in Italy on an everyday basis. So, no, racism is not as bad. I believe that there are racist people in Italy just like in any other country in the world. So it's not that big of a deal. We are not treated as bad, or we're not as discriminated as you may think. Actually, I think that we get a better treatment compared to how black people are treated, for instance, in the US, especially what has been going on in the past like 2-3 years. So we are fine. We are good. It's not as bad as you may think. We are happy. We can do whatever we want, and we do not get off. So I just wanted to clear that up because I get a lot of questions from people from the U.S. asking what is it like to be here. They're afraid to come and visit Italy because they think that they will get insulted, like in a crazy way. But guys, it's not like that. Also because they always treat tourists better than black people who live here. So come to Italy. It's a beautiful place. People are extremely warm and welcoming, especially to our tourists. So like chill and come to Italy because white Italians do not bite. Okay, that's all I want to say.
Hey, Bellamy and Ian and Loretta too. They wanted to ask in the chat. There's actually a chat next to the video on YouTube, and people watching and commenting and asking. And K-Shell W wonders if Bellamy and Ian and Loretta feel that your experiences are shaped by class and access to opportunity.
Yeah, you start since you're the man.
Oh, sorry, no, I didn't understand the question.
Me neither.
You guys feel like your experience with race is because you have money, basically, because you're in. But I feel
Yes, I'm penniless.
Because Bellamy, you said you grew up in you went to private schools, private Catholic schools. You were always surrounded by like the.
But that was my experience. Ian and Loretta had a different background, I guess.
But I come from public schools.
Exactly, that's what I was saying.
Not only from public school. I mean, I've met a lot of people coming from that, and I've had Romanian friends, Albanian friends, Italian friends. I mean, and I don't think that the childhood is actually a very good example because children are very evil. I mean, they do very bad things to one another. I mean, you can have next to you just someone who has some weight and maybe you're African, but you're not bullied, but he will be bullied. So is that racism? Yes, it's not good. It's clearly a discrimination. But I mean, for my last word, I mean, in case I will not have time afterwards, I mean, I would like to say, at least for those with African origins, I mean, I always divide African black, but I think there are Africans and there are people of the diaspora. And I think that we should be very much proud and tell the story coming from these, not just from from our motherland. I mean, which is not Africa. Africa is very big, but even being sort of grounded, because I think that most people sense a sort of ruthlessness, and they are not able to cope with it and even understand really what happened. I mean, even if just you think about slavery, it is something that really happened in West Africa, and you can really see a lot of African Americans that are very much like, I'm not referring to you, Tia, because I know that you are from Nigeria, but those that really don't know where they come from, but actually their roots can be traced from that part, but you will not see, or will you hardly see people from East Africa or other parts. This doesn't mean that something bad has not happened, but we cannot even say that, for example, Africans do not have the responsibilities in that, and we cannot even be happy about seeing those people drowning in the Mediterranean and African governments saying nothing about it and just say that Europe should do something about it. I think that is very much hypocritical, and Italians will keep their hypocritical stance for not being racist when actually they're doing what even Angola has rejected 20,000 Nigerians from those countries. South Africa, not even 1 month ago. They are far more cruel and we're full of bigotry, and we have to say something about that instead of saying, oh, well, no, but Europe is much crueler. I mean, we should also be honest. We should all really be honest in this discussion. And putting a band to bad role models, like being a thug, I don't want to be related with that. Any other kind of things that hinder the dignity of because that is the problem. When you say black, you really bring many people. I mean, you really bring a lot of people, and and actually these people are really different. So I mean, and the world must know this. So this is my final word. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me see if the viewers had any more questions. Hey, you 25 people watching live right now, if you have any personal questions to ask my guests, now would be the time because we're about to end. I don't see any.
But Andres didn't talk much though. Like I still don't know nothing at all about what
Andres, tell us something like, I don't know, because a lot of the comments on my Racism in Italy video said, well, Tia, if you were a black man from USA or if you were a black man from anywhere, you would feel racism so much more. It would be a stark difference for you. So I wanted to know if you felt that way. But you said no. Did you hear me?
What, sir?
Did you hear anything I said?
No.
All right. No.
Sorry.
A lot of people on my first Racism in Italy video said that me being a girl affected a lot of things, and if I was a black man, my experience would be totally different. People would treat me totally differently, and so I wanted you to like kind of answer to that, but you already did. But tell about that you were telling me something about the police.
The police, oh well, but the police, I don't think it is I mean, actually here they don't have the money to even, I mean, there are very big cuts, I mean, even with the police and even handling the illegal migrants, but I mean, I don't really think that the police is targeting back. I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, even standing that, I mean, someone can bring, not regarding the police, but how some politician treated, for example, what was her name of the minister? The Congolese, which frankly I don't think she was fit for the job. Really, I don't think so.
Not.
I met her personally.
Tell that to all the people commenting on my Racism in Italy video talking about, well, somebody threw a banana at Cecile, so Italy is racist.
Well, I understand.
Yeah, they throw bananas on the field everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not like it just happened in Italy.
You would throw a banana to me, I would really laugh, really, seriously.
I would have eaten it.
What?
I would have eaten it. If somebody threw a banana at me, I'd have been like, thanks.
Well, would you rather get a banana thrown at you, or would you rather get shot?
Very good point, Andreas. Very good point.
What?
Say it again.
What? Sorry, what?
What,
sorry, Andreas?
I said, would you rather get a banana thrown at you, or would you rather get shot? Because it happens too. So.
Yeah. True. I guess banana is better.
I don't think we really have to really take very personally ignorant action like that. But this doesn't mean that really clearly, I mean, I understand why she was appointed, because, I mean, someone should also understand why that government was, I mean, came out. I mean, it was a very particular and I mean, they wanted to show some change. Of course, I think that there were other much more
Black
qualified.
person.
What? Sorry.
They just picked
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I think even the choice was not good because I think that she was not able to cope with the criticism. And actually, that is something that, as a politician, you know that your operate can be praised, and of course it will be always praised by the people supporting you, but you will be always criticized. And I don't think she was very much capable also to do that. And she was always stressing about these things about, I mean, Italy does not have the financial capabilities to curb those problems. And having a Congolese there, which was not even able to cope with I mean, to, to defend her stance, I mean, I think was problematic because the people had the feeling that she was there not for defending the Italian interests, but even my interests, but just for, I mean, welcoming illegal immigrants. And no country in the world would do that.
No, I was thinking the
Country
same
in
thing.
the world. I mean, no
When I saw
country.
that Cecile was in your government, I was happy, first of all, that Italy had a black minister, but then I read her Wikipedia page. And let me tell you, if there was an illegal immigrant from Mexico that came to USA and then got elected as the head of the Department for Immigration, it would never happen.
Yeah, yes. But really, but how can you be credible with a government like this? I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't want to be pedantic, but frankly, I would not do that. I mean, there are tons of much more capable people, but politics is like that. I mean, trying to compromise and being hypocritical so much, and people, of course, are not stupid. I mean, especially because they're giving you their taxes, and we pay a lot of taxes here. 50 billion euros last month.
We have
50 billion euros. Sorry.
We have a few questions coming in now for all of you. The first one is for the Italians in the chat. Where do you think is the best place to live? North, south, east, or west for racism?
Where do you think is the worst?
Best, they said.
The best?
Center downward. Center downward.
No, you say that because you're wrong.
But not because they're more racist than the north. I think that people are much more warmer from the center down. I mean,
Yes,
I like it.
It's
I don't
true.
know.
It's kind of true.
But listen, you are from the center of Italy, yet you have experienced much more racism than I have. So
No, I'm in this north center. I'm in the north center, Bellamy.
no, you're
It's
not. You're not from North.
I'm in the north center. Oh my God! Check Italy, please. I'm in the north center.
I will call Salvini. You can be eligible for the Northern League.
The Italians in the chat are fighting about north and south and who is north and who is center. So funny.
We all know that the best thing that Milan and the all northern part of Italy have is the train to Rome. We all know this truth. We all know this truth.
But you guys, they said, Loretta, what advice would you give black people who are looking to live in Italy?
Advice? Wow. Stay strong.
That's you, because you're going to tell everybody to go the other way.
What they want
I
to
love
come.
Italy, but sometimes they don't realize it, but with their question, they're kind of rude. I don't know how to explain it. The question they make to you every day, I'm not saying they're doing this on purpose, but you have to digest their behavior sometimes. They're not bad people. I think some of them, they're just ignorant. So not all of them, of course, because I was born and raised here in Italy, and I know a lot of good people here that helped me and my family since I raised here with my younger brother and with my mother. And try not to be. I don't know. I don't know what to suggest. Stay strong. Stay stay happy. Don't feel like people are asking you things because they're racial. They're just curious sometimes. But I don't know if you agree with me, Bellamy, or other people. But sometimes Italian people, they ask you things because they're just curious. Sometimes we don't understand this. Me, in premise. Sometimes I think that they're asking things because they're racial or because, for example, sometimes they ask me, how did you come here? Why do you speak Italian so good? Stuff like that. Or, for example, if I have curly hair, they used to touch it. Oh, what a wonderful hair. They touch it. Sometimes they're rude, not because, I mean, some of them are just ignorant. So try not to be offended. If you get those things in that way, you can live cool. If you're a person that is not, elastic, you can have some issues. Like, that's what I can suggest to the people who want to come here. Don't think they're racial. Don't think they're racial. Just think that it's because of the culture.
Exotic.
Black people. What?
Exotic, I think.
Yeah.
I can say, though, this isn't, and nobody asked, but I might as well throw it out there because I've gotten the question before, if I've ever been discriminated because I'm American. And of course, it's not in the sense like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die because it's something so terrible and serious.
You're American, I mean, you.
No, but it's not always like, I just do have to say that a lot of the times, because I'm American, people don't value my opinion as much. They think that Americans
do not value what?
Value my opinion as much. If I don't agree with the common European perspective, say on taxes or global policy or something of, of an educated matter, automatically my opinion is invalid because I'm from USA and we don't know anything about the rest of the world or anything about.
Well, is that not true?
Sorry. No, it's not.
I'm kidding.
It's not true. And also, if you're American, you can look to get scammed a lot more. I've had a lot of times where people try to take my money because they think I'm rich, and it's so funny because I'm not at all. At all.
Yeah, I mean,
like they'll try to charge you extra for a house. They'll try to like slip in some fine print into something. So that's the kind of thing you can expect if you're coming as like an American. Somebody asked,
Italians really think highly of America. They think that it's such a progressive country, ignoring that, first of all, it is much more conservative than Italy. It's much more. It is much more conservative. And to be honest, I think that Italy has an edge on America on many aspects. One, for sure, which is not very good from the Italian side is that I mean, the work ethic. I mean, that is something that I must say. But I mean, Americans work very hard. I mean, and it is. I mean, situation like taxes here. I mean, it is strange that people want to see their salary increasing, but in the end, but still they want the welfare untouched. But you have to, finance it. Otherwise, I mean.
Today, I saw one of the metro workers sleeping on the job. He was just sleeping. These people strike every other week.
Powerful. I mean, Italy for this reason. I mean, I would not suggest if there is one really willing to come and set a business here to come because I mean Italians actually there is a part of the population which is very creative. I mean, if this country is running, it is because of these people. I mean, and you cannot base. And you cannot see these people in the administration or in the government. But there is a lot of knowledge. There is a lot of things, but strangely for an unknown reason, something that I really cannot figure out. I mean, it is blocked, this country, but I mean, for this reason, I would not suggest people to come. I mean, because they would be terribly disappointed, even if there is a lot of potentials, and probably this government is delivering some change. But yeah, but people just come to visit. It is very nice, Italy. It is a wonderful country, and people are very willing, even if they don't speak English and they don't speak the language. They would do everything to really accommodate you, to not make you, I mean, to stuff you with a lot of food. Yeah, a lot of it.
Yes.
And then you say, well, maybe you are from Africa, so you don't eat that much, but maybe it's not good, the food. No, no, it's fine. It's just that it's too much. And this is a never-ending struggle I have since I was born here. When I say to people, no, it is too much, thank you. And that is the moment when they feel really offended, like, maybe I didn't cook so well, but I mean, no, it is. Really, it is, but it's too much.
Last question, you guys. Do you think, I guess Ian would be more able to answer, do you think that how do you think is okay, let me read what the question said. What is the Southern Italian opinion of immigration? Do you think it's like the U.S. where they say that all the immigrants are stealing the jobs and they're really hostile towards them?
No, because there are no jobs there. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to appear prejudiced. No, I don't want to appear prejudiced. I mean, in the southern part, it is a very, it's a place full of histories. The most beautiful beaches, the most beautiful landscape are there in the south. And actually, even the greatest food, I totally believe that the more northern you go, the bad the food it is. I'm sorry for all those people living in the northern part, but this is what I personally believe. But yeah, I mean, I think the attitude is, as I said before, I mean, they cannot provide because, frankly, the situation is really hard. I mean, the economic figures of some parts, apart from the region of Puglia, which is, I think, doing well economically, but the other part, it is like Greece. I'm not kidding. I mean, the productivity. And really, that is actually there are a lot of people moving from the south to the northern part, but still, I mean, the situation. So I would not say that they would. I think that the question is bad. I mean, if there are people willing to work here in Italy, they are very welcomed. Really. Probably some people would be just sleeping and leave you the bad job, the dirty job. Maybe they would do even this thing, but really, I don't think that, as I said before, we really have to get out of this victim narrative and start take on some responsibilities. I mean, not all black, not all Africans are thug. They are really great people. I'm not saying that someone to be successful has to be a lawyer. I'm also study music and I love it. And I personally prefer that than lawyers because lawyers, I don't like them. I mean, but you know, you still need to have food on your plate. So I mean, but it is. I think that we should really send this message. I mean, and even Africa, it is a place full of history, full of people that are struggling, and there are smart people in Africa. It is not the people that you see drowning in the sea, where even their own government are not taking care of their own citizens and are doing nothing about that. But it also has a lot of potentials. So I mean, that is my message.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. That was the last question. They're not coming in anymore. But I just want to thank you guys all for coming on to this live cast and doing this video and sharing your views, your stories. I owe you all drinks. This was really great.
Very good. When I will be, can you also
You're
pay
in the
maybe for my train ticket? I mean,
I don't know about that.
well, since you're American, you're so rich.
Right. Anyways, yeah, I guess we can call this the end. Thank you guys so much again, and I'm going to be leaving everybody's social media down below. Well, everybody that's super active, because Loretta is a performer, Bellamy is a blogger, and you're just more of like a public figure. You're involved in everything. So I'll link you guys all to them. But we're going to sign off now. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are awesome. You are awesome.
Bye.
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 No, Andreas, say bye.
Bye.